Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you are just joining, thanks for joining, and if you are a returning subscriber, thanks for staying with us. So for today we are going to be making this crochet skirts you saw in the video earlier, and for that I'm going to be using a 4mm hook and two different shades of yarn. I'm going to be using a purple yarn and a lilac yarn, and for this pattern I'm going to be working with a double crochet. So for this I'm working with a waist measurement of 26 inches and I'm working with a hips measurement of 37 inches. So I went on to make a chain of 24 inches and not 26 inches, but when stretched it gets to 26 inches and above. So after making my chains, I just want to reconfirm with my tape rule, measure and make sure I am on 24 inches so I don't make mistake, and then just finish up the project and start frogging it. So after confirming that I'm on my 24 inches and I'm fine with the measurements, what I am going to do is I'm going to want to align my work facing each other, make sure the chains are arranged properly, not like maybe one is turning or another. So when I slip stitch into the first chain I made before, it doesn't look somehow, it doesn't start turning or something. So what we want to do is we want to slip stitch into the first chain we made before, and then we're going to chain up to start our row. And for that, after you've slip stitched, chain up to turn your work and work 1 DC into every stitch, and that is what we're going to be doing for this. So you're going to be working 1 double crochet into every stitch, and I'll meet you at the end of the row. First row, and then this is what I have so far. So I want to measure this, and when I measured it before I had like 13 inches. So I'm having 12 inches currently, but when stretched it gets to 13 inches. I don't know if you can see that, 13 inches or 13.5, and I'm working with a hips of 37 and 13.5 times 2, that should be 27. I have 27 inches, so I need 10 more inches. So but before we start making increase for the hips, we're going to work chain 2, turn your work, and 1 DC into every stitch for the next 5 rows. Mind you, this is how I do mine. After chaining 2, I turn my work. I make sure I don't work the first stitch into this chain stitch here where the chain is on top. I go into the next stitch, so when I worked around, then I'll come back to go into that chain stitch which I omitted at the beginning. So chain to skip this chain to stitch and then go into the next, and then work 1 DC into every stitch. So if you don't turn your work, if you just work where you stopped, I noticed that the line at the back, that's the slip stitch, tends to be slant, and you don't want your skirts line looking slant. So always make sure to chain to turn your work and then skip the chain to stitch, and then you will come back to make your last DC. Sorry about the noise. And then you will come back to make your last DC into that chain to stitch you skipped at the beginning. When I'm almost at the end of the row, I'm going to come back to show you that, but before then I'm going to work this off camera, and I'll come back to show you when I'm at the last stitch of the row. So that is going to be repeated for the next 3 rows, because by then I'll be done with my second row. I want 5 rows before the increase for the hips. So let's just do that, and I'll meet you at the end of the row. I have just 1 more stitch to go, and can you see that it was this chain stitch we skipped at the beginning? So this is it, and then you go into it with 1 double crochet. Mind you, if you don't go into that chain stitch you skipped at the beginning, you're going to be making a decrease, and you don't want your skirt to turn too small, right? So slip stitch to end your row into the 3rd stitch here, which should be on top of this. It's always too hard to go into. You just have to force it in. Yeah, there we go. And you're done with your second row. Now for row 3, you want to chain 2, repeat the same pattern. 1, 2, turn your work, skip this chain 2 stitch, go into the next with 1 DC and follow this pattern till you have 5 rows, and I'll meet you at the end of my 5th row. Mind you, I'm on the 3rd row, so I have 2 more rows to go after this row, and then I'll meet you there so we can start the increase, the end of my 5th row. And then this is what I'm having so far. So let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now let's check how many inches we have. Trying to adjust this to the camera so you can see it. We're having 12 inches, and when stretched we have 13.5. When stretched, 13.5. So we still have the same thing, and I want to make increases on both ends. So here and here, you want to make sure where you are slip stitching is in the middle. You want to adjust it to the middle very well. And then you can use your tape rule to measure from where you slip stitch to this side and from where you slip stitch to this side, just to have 6, 6. You know it's 12 inches, so on each side you must have 6, 6. Here, can you see this falls on 6? So you put your stitch marker inside, because that is where you're going to be making an increase. By the edge here, put your stitch marker inside, and then you turn it around too. From this where you slip stitch here to here, and we also have 6 inches. So you put your stitch marker here too, and then there you go. So now whenever you get to this stitch marker, you're going to be making 2 stitches inside here. So it's going to be 1 row of increase, 1 normal row, 1 row of increase, 1 normal row. We're going to do that for a total of 5 rows. So in total we should be having 5 rows of increase, 5 normal rows, so 10 rows. Now to start this 6th row, chain 2, 1, 2, turn your work. Then as we are doing before, now skip this chain stitch, go into the next with 1 DC. So I'm going to work this till I get to this stitch marker. I'm going to work this on camera. So I've gotten to my stitch marker, and then this is the last stitch, that is the stitch marker stitch. So I'm going to remove this, place this here, and then into this stitch you're going to put 1 double crochet, then another double crochet. But before putting the other double crochet, after putting the first double crochet, make sure to grab your stitch marker and then put it inside the first stitch you made into it, and then make another double crochet into that same stitch. And there you have it, 2 stitches inside the stitch. You've made an increase, and then just work 1 DC into every stitch, 1 DC into every stitch, and I'll meet you at the other stitch. I'll meet you at the other stitch marker, which is here. So I'm going to walk around like this till I get to the stitch marker here, and I'll meet you once I'm there. So guys, I'm at the stitch where my stitch marker is here, and I'm just going to remove this like I did earlier before. Move this, place it here, and then work 1 DC into that stitch. Return your stitch marker, and then work 1 more DC into that same stitch, and then just work 1 DC, work 1 DC into every stitch moving forward. I'm done with this first row of increase, and what I want to do now is chain 2 to start the new row. 1, 2, turn my work, go into the stitch, not the chain 2 stitch, and then work 1 DC. So for this row is going to be rows of no increase. We're not going to be making any increase since we made increase for the first row. You know, like I said before, it's going to be 1 row of increase, 1 normal row, 1 row of increase, 1 normal row, and that is what we're going to do. So I'm just going to work 1 DC into every stitch till I get to the first stitch marker. The stitch where my stitch marker is, and I'm going to remove the stitch marker, place it there, and then do 1 DC into this stitch, return my stitch marker, and then that will be it. Instead of doing another stitch there, I'm not going to do another double crochet because, like I explained earlier, this row is going to be no rows of increase. So then I'm just going to work 1 DC into every stitch round, 1 DC into every stitch round till I get to where the other stitch marker is, and I'll meet you there. So guys, I've gotten to my stitch marker, and then I'm just going to remove this, do 1 stitch into that stitch marker stitch, return my stitch marker, and then I'm just going to work 1 DC into every stitch till I get to the end of the row. This row, and I'm going to be starting the next row, and this next row is going to be a row of increase because the row we recently finished was a row of no increase, and like I stated before, this is just going to be the pattern. So I just wanted to show you this one more time, and then I'll be doing the rest off camera. Mind you, when you are making your increase, make sure you are putting your tape rule to measure. When I started, I told you I had 24 inches, that was 12 inches each. Now when I measured off camera, I'm having 12.5 inches just for this increase row I just made. I'm having 12.5, and when I stretched it out, I'm having a total of 28 inches. So we're gradually beginning to have an increase. So I have 28 inches, and I'm working with a hips measurement of 37. Now remove your stitch marker. Into this stitch we're going to make an increase, work 1 DC, return your stitch marker to the same stitch, work another stitch, work another stitch into that same stitch marker. So we have 2 stitches there. Then just work 1 DC into every stitch till you get to the other end where the stitch marker is, and then make an increase, and the next row will be no rows of increase, the next will be rows of increase. So 1 normal row, 1 increase row, 1 normal row, 1 increase row, 1 normal row, 1 increase row for the next 5 rows, each in total 10 rows. So once you are done with your 10th row, I'll meet you at the end of the row. Mind you, if the hips measurement you are working with is bigger, compared to the 5 increase row, you might want to increase for more rows. Or if it's smaller, you might want to increase for lesser rows. Imagine if you are working with a hips measurement of 34, you might have to increase for just 2 or 3 rows. If you are working with a hips measurement of 45, you want to increase for more rows till you are having something close to that. So that is going to be the pattern, and I'll just meet you at the stitch marker. After showing you that, I'll do the rest off camera. So guys, I've gotten to my stitch marker, and I'm going to remove this, place 1 DC into this stitch, return my stitch marker, and then place 1 more DC into the same stitch and work 1 double crochet into every stitch. So guys, I've worked my 10 rows, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn it to the side to reconfirm that I have 10 rows, and then that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I have 10 rows there, and I'm done with my stitch marker, so I'll remove them. And for the next row, I'm just going to be working 1 DC into every stitch. So for the next few rows, I'm going to be working 1 DC into every stitch. So I want to measure this because I'm working with a length of 16 inches, and so let us measure so I know how many inches I have worked so far. So currently I am on 7.5. I'm on 7.5. So from this 7.5 till I get to my 16th row, I am going to be working 1 DC into every stitch because the length of the skirt is 16. If you want yours longer or shorter, you can just work with your length. So you're going to work 1 DC into every stitch till you get to your desired length, and I'll meet you once I'm done with that. I'm done with the skirt. I've got it to my desired length, and I want to make the belt of the skirt, and you're going to be using a different shade of yarn for that. For me, I'm going to be using lilac because I'm working with purple, so I want to use a lighter shade of purple, which is lilac, and this is what I'm going to be doing. So now for the belt, we want to make 6 chains. 1 2 3 3 4 5 6. Feel this is wide enough. Now go into the next stitch with a half double crochet, and then keep working 1 half double crochet into every stitch. And for this belt, we are going to be working with half double crochet. So now to the last stitch, 1 half double crochet, and then chain 2, 1 2, turn your work to the first stitch, 1 half double crochet, then into rest of the stitches 1 half double crochet, and then you are going to repeat this pattern till you have 35 inches. You can make yours longer or shorter depending on you, but since it's a belt, I want it very long, so I'm just on 1 inch, so I have 34 more inches to go. So I'll meet you guys back when I have my 35 inches. Guys, I've gotten to my 35 inches, and then this is what it looks like. So I got this belt material from a bag store where they sell bag material. You can actually ask there and buy yours. I don't know what it is called. So you want to put in the tip of your belt and then just fold it like that, and then you're going to sew it. So just thread your needle with your yarn, and then you're just going to be sewing it from under. Make sure wherever you want to sew is the part that is going to be inside, it's not going to be out. Then you're just going to sew both ends together just like that. And once I'm done sewing, guys, I'll come back to show you the results. Now we're about to make the belt hole. No, this is the belt itself, so we're about to make the belt hole for the skirt. So since we ended up chaining 5 here, we want the belt hole to be wider than this, so I will advise we chain 9, so it can be wider than this. You know, it has to be very spacious, or rather still, let's chain 10. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. I don't know if this is not looking too wide. It's supposed to be wide so the belt can enter inside. I think it's fine. So for this, we're going to work 1 half DC into every stitch. 1 half DC into every stitch. As I got to my 4th row, and I thought to try it because it's looking wide enough. So instead of doing 5 rows, I think 4 rows should be enough. So let's lay the belt first. Let's assume this is the belt, and then it goes over it like this. I think this is enough. It can enter freely. You don't want it to be too wide, so I feel this is preferable. So stop here. We're going to make 3 more of this because we need 2 at the front, then 2 at the front here, then 2 at the back. So we have 1. We're going to make 3 more of this. After making 3 more of this, we're just going to arrange it something like this. Sew it, then come back, sew that one, then we'll be able to put our belts inside of it. So I'll meet you guys when I'm done with. So guys, I'm done with this, and then what we want to do is we want to start counting after that middle stitch. We're not going to count the middle stitch, we're going to count after the middle stitch, and then we're going to count 7 stitches after the middle stitch. So after counting 7 stitches after the middle stitch, you just want to put your first belt hole there, and then make sure you align it where it's on the right side, and then go to the other side. You are going to not count the middle stitch, but the stitch after the middle stitch. When I say middle stitch, the middle stitch is the stitch by the side. You're not counting that, but you're counting the stitch after that. Then you want to count 7 to the front as well, and then put your belt hole, and then this is what it should look like. So now after you've done that, I'm just trying to show you guys properly so you can see. This is what it looks like. So you're also going to do the same for the back too. But now let's remove the first one, thread your needle, and then we're going to be sewing this. So now remove that, and then when you want to sew it, you just want to lift this one up just like that. It's like this, right? So what you want to do is you want to lift it up like this. After lifting it up, just align both edges together and then sew it. It's that simple. It's laying down like this, you lift it up. After lifting it up, you align both edge, or you call both, or you can say both tips depending on you. You align both edge together and make sure you reconfirm that you are on the 7th stitch, so you don't go and maybe make mistake and then it will not be balanced. Align it together like this, and then just put in your needle and then sew it till you get to the end. And after sewing this, I will come back to show you guys. So once you are done sewing it, you just want to cut off your yarn, and then you are going to cut it off just like that. So now you are going to align it facing like this, and then just make sure to tie the tip of your yarn. After tying, we are going to be sewing it from the inner part of the skirt. Now don't just put your needle on top of this like this to sew. No, that is very, very wrong. Go from inside just like that. Can you see? And make sure that it's not as if you are folding both together, that after you've done that you will now mistakenly sew the skirt together. No, you want to put your hand inside to be confirming, and then go from under just like that and then sew it together. Can you see what I'm doing now? Sew it, and always make sure you are confirming that you are not sewing the skirt together, because a lot of people tend to make that mistake. So you wouldn't want to make the same. Just sew it like that till you get to the end of the skirt, and then till you get to the end of the belt, sorry, and then you are just going to trim it off. I to put my belt into the belt holes, and this is what the back looks like. This is what it looks like, yeah. So guys, I just created this pocket design, and I'd like to show you guys how I did it on this other end here. So if you look at it very well, I went after a stitch after the last place the belt stopped. Let me explain what I meant by this. This is where the belt stopped, right, and this is where I started my chain from, but I just skipped a stitch in between. That is why you still have this purple yarn in between. So where your belt stop, skip a stitch in between, then insert your hook into it. So now our belts, for easy access and to be able to work conveniently, you want to turn your work like this. So this is a stitch after, and you want to insert your hook here. Now after you've done that, make a slip knot just like this, insert it, and then bring it out just like this. After you've brought it out, make a chain of 2, 1, 2. Into the next stitch, make a single crochet, and for this we're going to be working with single crochet. So make a single crochet just like that. That is 1, and we're going to make 8 more single crochets on a straight line. Make sure you're working on a straight line, not like you walk here then you come at the back. You're working on a straight line. So we want to make 8 single crochets. In total we have a total of 9 single crochets. So this will be 2, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9. So now we have our first 9 stitches single crochet, and now if you look at this is giving a reverse C. This is actually a reverse C. So now we want to do our second reverse C on this end. You know we can go like this, so we want to go like this. So now once your work is like this, what you want to do is you want to fold your work like this. You fold it up like this, just like this, right? You know, normally this is the stitch you're supposed to go in, right? You're not going to go into this stitch, you're going to skip it and come into the upper stitch here, because we want to have something slant, and that is the only place you're going to repeat in that. Let me show you. After folding your work, you're just supposed to enter here normally and go around like this, but it's not give you that reverse C. So you want to skip here and go on top of this place here and enter with your reverse C, just like this, then single crochet. Now after you've done that, you will now go back down instead of walking up. Like I said, this is the only place we are going to be having this single crochet come up, the rest to be downward. So this is where we work. You want to go back down here. When you are going down, it's going to be, oh God, when you are going down, it's going to be the stitch after where you just skipped. So you go down here just like that and make one single crochet, and then go down and then just keep making one single crochet. So after I've made 2 single crochets, I tend to skip one, but that's not how I do it. I just want it to have this firm look, so I skip one. So I will skip this and then I'll go into the next. I don't know if you understand, but I really, as I was saying, we're about to skip this stitch, so we'll just go into the next stitch with a single crochet. Then you just work single crochet all through. So this one will be after 3 rows of single crochet before you skip over one stitch. Now I've worked 3. This was where I just worked down one, so this is 1 2 3 there, and then I'm going to skip this into the next. I'm going to make another single crochet. We're actually doing this because we want it to have this C looking vibe. Do you get? So now we're ready here, and then this is what it looks like so far. So you're going to stop there just like this. This is where we have this curve, is where we skipped where we're supposed to go in and went on top, and then we came back down. So where we skipped, it went up, and can you see it came back down, having this slant look. So now you want to chain 2, because we're about to start a new row of single crochet. Chain 2, 1 2, and then turn your work. Then we're just going to work single crochet into all the stitches moving forward. So single crochet into every stitch till you get to the last stitch, single crochet. I really hope you get this explanation for the pocket design, but if you don't, you can just reverse it till you understand. Thank you. So single crochet into every stitch, moving upward till you get to the last stitch. So once you get to the last stitch, you want to slip stitch. So now I just entered my last stitch, and you wouldn't want to leave your work like this, so you want to slip stitch here. What I did is I just slip stitch. That's slip stitching. Can't find my scissors, so I might just use my hand for this. Then you want to tie it. So after you tie it like this, you just insert your hook from here to drag the yarn into the wrong side of the skirt. So just like this, just going to drag this, then I will tie both ends together, then I'll do the trimming later on. So if you look at it, this is what we're having. I'm going to be showing you guys how to do these pockets in this strap I made here. So this is the pocket, as you can see. So we're going to be doing it on this other end here. So for this, we're going to be starting with this purple yarn first, and then you want to make a chain of 16. So make 16 chains. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13, 14, 15, 16. So now we have 16 chains, and you want to go into the next stitch with one double crochet and into every stitch with one double crochet till you finish up this row. So for this stitch and for this pocket, we are going to be working with one double crochet, and it's going to be one double crochet into every stitch till we finish up this row. So how many rows did we make here? We made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we made 9 rows here, and so for this we are going to make 9 rows also. So this is the first row. Go ahead to make 8 more rows, and I'll meet you at the end of the row, and in total you must have 9 rows. So guys, I'm done with this, and we have 9 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So now we want to start this shade here. Now you want to leave 2 rows, because if you can see 1, 2, but it's on the second row I started. I don't know if you can see it. Let me shift this a bit. So you want to leave a row, and you want to start on the second row, then count 9 rows upward, because you have 9 rows here, and whatsoever you have here must be the size of what you want to do. Okay, so now you want to count 1. Okay, you're not counting this, sorry. You want to count 1, 2, 3, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is the 9th row here. So now let's confirm it. Can you see? Okay, from here, can you see that it falls on the 9th row here? So now what we want to do is we want to grab our lilac, then make a slip knot. Trying to get my hand. You need to grab your lilac here, then make a slip knot. So we're going to be working this way, like I always say. It's easier to work from the side. So now insert your yarn, pull it through, and then chain 2, 1, 2. So inside there, make a single crochet, into the next another single crochet. So you're just going to make 1 single crochet down till you have just 1 more stitch. So I'm going to do this on camera so you can see. So you're just going to work on a straight line. It's similar to the backward C we made for the pocket design. For this one, we're not going to be skipping any stitches, neither are we going to be working upward. We're just going down till we have 1 more stitch left on the row. Okay, this should be it here. Almost there. So we're approaching our 1 row, and there we have just 1 more row. So now can you see what it looks like so far? So by now you want to go this way, yeah? So you just want to fold your work like this, and then walk into the second stitch before the last. This is the first, so into the second stitch you just want to fold your work, then you just want to, sorry, a single crochet, you want to go in the single crochet just like you are giving the letter L, but now we're trying to form letter U. I think it's preferable to use alphabet. So just work 1 single crochet, so mind you, while working 1 single crochet, you know we are working by the edge, so you have to be dropping your work to see if you have gotten to where you have to stop. So I'll do that now. Check it out now. Have I gotten to the end? And how will you be able to know? Wherever this stops is where your row must stop. So let's see, have we gotten there? Not yet. Let's, oh, I cannot see it, sorry. What I was explaining, I said How will you know if you've gotten there? You know you should have something like this. Wherever this stops, that's where this must stop. Then you start your U. So are we there? No, we still have like 2 more stitches to go. So let's add 2 more single crochet. We have 1 and then 1, 2. So it's well balanced now. And then we want to form something like this. So we're going to work upward like this till we get to where we stop here, and that should be our 9th row. So fold your work like this again, and then work 1 single crochet into every stitch, 1 single crochet into every stitch, into the next stitch here. Just slip stitch like this, then chain 1, turn your work and work 1 single crochet into every stitch round. One single crochet into every stitch round, and then I'll meet you at the end of the row here. Yes, I'm already at the end of the row, and what I want to do here is just to slip stitch into the next stitch here. So you just want to slip stitch and then cut your yarn. Oh, I was not supposed to cut that. Oops, I totally forgot I was not supposed to cut that. But anyways, I'll just have to reattach. So you want to get this and place it like this, just to attach them with your lilac yarn. That's why I was so pained that I cut off my yarn. Totally forgot I wasn't supposed to cut it off. So make a slip knot, because I have too many end loops here. I'm going to start from this side, but do not forget you're not supposed to cut yours, so you just continue. So you want to enter into the last stitch that was here, or you can call it the first stitch depending on you. Then insert your yarn into your stitch, yeah, come out like this, just like this, and then make sure this one is facing the right side when you want to join them, trying to align it well. So it should be just like this. Then you want to go into the first stitch here, and then just single crochet. Make sure to drag this so it can be a bit tight. Then from henceforth you're just going to single crochet them together till you get to the end of the row. So you're just going to single crochet together, just like that. So just go on and single crochet them together. This is what your work is looking like so far, exactly. So I'm going to single crochet till we get here, and I'll meet you at the end of this row. So I'm at the end of the row, and what you want to do is just to slip stitch into that stitch and then cut off your yarn. So we're done with this. Now we need to make the cover of the pocket. So slip stitch, cut off your yarn, seal it, and then we're done. We're going to trim this one later on, and then this is what the pocket is looking like so far. So now what you want to do is you want to make the cover part of the pocket, just like what we did there. So now you are going to face your work like this and make sure it's aligning well. And what you want to do is you want to leave a row and then go into the second row. So you're going to skip a row and then you're going to be working into the second row. Can you see? And now what you want to do is for the tip of the pocket, you want to skip 2 stitches away from the tip of the pocket, where the tip of the pocket stop. Can you see that I counted it backward? So you want to skip 1 row, go into the second row, and then count 2 stitches away from where the tip of the pocket stopped, and we are going to be using our purple yarn for that. I hope you understand. you want to go to the end of this pocket, the tip of it, count 2 stitches away, and then go into the second row because we have a row in between. So that is what we're going to be doing. So I'm just trying to show you guys the difference there. You see that I'm showing you, I'm using my hand to explain it. We have to count a row, then go to the next row. So we're skipping a row, and then we're going to be working on the second row. And on the second row, we're going to count 2 stitches backwards after the tip of the pocket. So insert your yarn into the second, and then just make a slip knot. After you've made a slip knot, you want to chain up 2, and then we're going to work 1 DC into every stitch till we get to the tip of the other pocket, tip of the pocket on the other side, and then we're going to count 2 stitches away from that too. Just like the way we counted 2 stitches backward there, we're going to count 2 stitches forward on the other side so that the pockets can be wide. The cover of the pocket can be wide enough, and then it can have a little bit of space. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So this is what we're going to do. So after you've gotten to the tip of the other pocket there, you want to count 2 stitches away from it, and then that's where you're going to stop, and then we're going to repeat that for the next 3 rows, because in total I want to have 4 rows for the pocket, and then we'll come back to make a single crochet. But for now, let's work 4 rows for the pocket. So just keep doing what I explained, and then I'll meet you at the end of my 4th row. I just want to cut this off because we are supposed to end the row with a single crochet like we did here. So you want to cut this off and change color. Why is this disturbing me? So we are done with this for now. Then we'll be making use of this lilac. So make a slip knot, then go into this stitch, pull through, chain 2, 1, then 2. Make sure to pull this very tight, and then you just want to work 1 single crochet into every stitch. So carry on and work 1 single crochet into every stitch till you get to the end of the row. Cut off your yarn and then seal it. So after doing that, we're going to be making the straps on top of the pocket, and I'll meet you once I'm done with this row. So I'm done with the cover of the pocket, and then this is what it looks like so far. So we want to make the strap. What you want to do is you want to go into the middle stitch. We're going to be working into the middle stitch on top of the pocket, but mind you, you're not going to work into the stitch where the pocket cover started from. You're going to go into the stitch after. Now this is the cover of the pocket. You don't want to go into that same stitch where you started the cover of the pocket, whereas you want to go into the stitch after where you started the pocket, or the stitch before. Let's say the stitch before where you started the pocket. Now what you're going to do is you're just going to make a slip knot, and then you're going to chain up 2, and then work 1/2 double crochet into the first stitch, and then work 1/2 double crochet into the second stitch, and work 1/2 double crochet into the third stitch, because we're going to be working with just 3 stitches for the straps. So now after you've worked 3/2 double crochet, what you want to do is you want to align it and make sure it's in the middle. If it's not in the middle, you might have to redo this. So now you want to chain up 2, and then turn your work, and you're just going to be working 1/2 double crochet into every stitch till you have 15 rows. You're going to be working 1/2 double crochet into every stitch till you have 15 rows, and then I'm going to meet you guys at the end of the 15th row. So I've gotten to my 15th row, and I just want to cut off this yarn because I'm going to be making a single crochet all around the strap, just like I'm showing you there. So you want to reattach your purple yarn, and then you're just going to make a slip knot, just like that. After you've made the slip knot, you're going to pull through and then make a chain of one, and we're going to be working single crochet round, just like that. So after you've done that, you want to turn your rope and then make one single crochet into every stitch, and I'm going to be working round like I said earlier before. So I'm going to work upward just like that, and once I get there, I will cut off my yarn and seal it. Then I'm going to reattach to the other end, and I'm just going to make one single crochet downward till I get to the end of that row, and then I'm going to slip stitch to end the row, and I'm going to trim it up. So I'm going to do that, and I'll meet you guys once I'm done. Done with both pockets and this belt on top. Then this is what the project is looking like so far. This is what we have. So what we want to do is just to trim off all this excess yarn. Make sure when you are trimming, you are dragging the yarn to the wrong side. Let me show you what I mean by that. Whenever I want to trim, now for instance, see this yarn here, I insert my hook from under, then I pass it through like this, then I drag it inwards like this, just tie it properly just like this, then I trim it off. So if you stay with us to this extent, thanks for watching, and I hope you find this tutorial very helpful. So guys, I will just go on to trim, and then I'll come back to show you guys the end results. Thanks for watching, and make sure to subscribe and like and comment and also share. Thank you. Come back to show you guys the results.